Nonstop news now at 7. Concerns that a Georgia law meant to protect you is actually driving business out of our state. The law holds property owners accountable for crimes that happen on their property, but it's costing them big time. Atlanta News First investigative reporter Anastasia Olmos has been looking into this issue. And Anastasia, you found that at the end of the day, it's people like you and me, all of us, we're paying for this.
That's right. The viewers, us insurance experts estimate Georgia residents pay about $1,400 a year in these extra costs known as a tort tax, and we don't even realize it. It's included in things like rent increases and food at your local restaurant, but it's essentially to help the business pay for insurance coverage, which is getting more and more expensive, they say, because of this law.
When school's out, you'll find kids playing inside the Villages at Eastlake Apartments in Atlanta.
But you'll see there's gates there.
Laurel Hart helps oversee affordable housing complexes like this one for Columbia Residential.
A lot of cameras here.
Trying to keep thousands of families safe in some of the highest crime areas.
We have over 100 cameras here at Eastlake, and we pay $18,000 a month just for cameras.
But Hart says a Georgia law holding them accountable for third-party crimes has their insurance company facing one potential lawsuit after another.
Our insurance has gone up, not 100%, not 200%, probably like 600%.
And she worries they may not be able to continue their work in these communities.
A lot of our properties, we no longer have any kind of cash flow due to cost of security.
It's known as Georgia's premises liability law. It essentially holds a property owner responsible for a visitor's injuries if they failed to keep the property safe. And court rulings have furthered the owner's responsibilities to include not only crimes that happen on the property, but around it too.
Our standard is higher than the police right now because we're expected to stop crime.
When someone threatens to sue for injuries, Hart says their insurance company either has to settle at a minimum of $600,000 with fees or face the possibility of what the insurance world calls nuclear verdicts of millions of dollars.
And everybody can just see it on the billboards. There's attorneys holding up big wads of cash saying, you know, I won 17 million, I won 12 million, I won 11 million.
How about 43 million? That's what a Southeast Atlanta CVS had to pay this past summer after a man was shot and injured selling an iPad in their parking lot. The court found them liable in part because there had been robberies in the past and they removed security guards.
Was one of our monitoring officers over there. It's 24 hours security, and we usually have 3 at a time.
The costs, experts say, are ultimately passed on to the consumer.
Those higher premiums, when the coverage is available, get passed on to the people who live in the apartments. The everyday person pays more in rent, more in food.
Agents say some insurance companies are no longer covering businesses like grocery stores or gas stations, and the state is already seeing stores closing down due to the cost of crime.
If you're in the city of Atlanta, by Georgia State, Racetrack no longer has a store there. Quick Trip closed a store there.
Racetrack by GSU closed in February after a series of deadly shootings between their property and the student apartments across the street. Both are now facing trial in a premises liability lawsuit. But personal injury attorneys argue the law holds businesses accountable. Hypothetically speaking, Matthew Stoddard says,
3 people reported to us they've been sexually assaulted in their units. 2 kids have been shot in our units. Well, when that happens, you need to behave differently. And that ain't what they're doing.
At some of our properties, like our Mechanicsville property, we spend close to $1 million on security each year in addition to insurance.
As costs continue to climb, Columbia Residential says raising rent isn't an option.
The amount that we're paying now per unit is almost making it impossible to maintain an affordable housing property in the state of Georgia.
And with legislative session starting today, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp is pushing for reform. Now, some of the possible solutions lawmakers could look at include defining what safety measures a business needs to take, like having gates and security guards, as well as limiting how much money someone can get in damages when they sue. I'm Anastasia Olmos. Atlanta News First investigates.